Hey guys, Brad Krantz. We are here to talk about Facebook strategies today, segment number 6, and it is entitled Engaging at the Next Level. And today's is not so much a how-to as the mindset or the proper mindset required to take your engagement to the next level. But let's first look at what is an influencer. What are we talking about there? Well, basically, and I think we all kind of get this, it's a person or thing that influences another. And as it relates to marketing, a person with the ability to influence potential buyers of a product or service by promoting or recommending the items on social media, which is where we're at right now. But let's shift gears a little bit. I want to look at John Maxwell's definition here. And he says very simply, leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. You know, some see influence as a negative. Perhaps in the marketing definition, it is because you're just trying to really sell a product or service on social media. Okay, but I would suggest if we're going to try to be leaders on social media, we want to influence others by providing value. Okay. And again, most people don't lead their life, Maxwell says. He goes, they accept their life. And people who lead their life intentionally add value to others. Okay. And that's where I'm going to shift gears here again, because we're going to talk about adding value. You know, when I started getting on social media about a year ago and realized what I was going to be doing, Maxwell was a big influence. And one of the things he said, and he says this a lot, is his goal is to add value to people. I said, well, that sounds like a great thing that I can try to do. That would be a great purpose, you know, characteristic, core value, such. So I did that. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but adding value. So, you know, if we're going to be leaders who influence, okay, and I think that's the right way to influence, then we are or should be adding value to others, particularly here on Facebook. So how do we do that? Well, first and foremost, we need to value people. You know, he says you can spend your life connecting with people or correcting people. Which do you think you'd like to have be done to you? Well, connecting with people. If you value people, you will be connecting with them. Okay, and we need to connect with people on Facebook. That's why we're here, right? But how do you do it? How do you do it right? Shifting gears again, if you haven't, I want to recommend Gary Vaynerchuk's Jab, 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 Right Hook. You can get it on Amazon. The book's about 10 years old, and it's aptly subtitled, How to Tell Your Story in a Noisy Social World. Noise really in social media is really just there's a lot of activity, a lot of posts, a lot of, you know, spamming, that type of thing, where nobody's really listening or hearing what somebody else is saying. But this book really tells you kind of how to set that apart. And he really explains how brands and individuals, in our case, can cut through the clutter on social media with creative and powerful content. So here's quick summary points that align with our topic here. He says, number one, his boxing analogy of jabs and right hooks and how he applies them in marketing terms is really kind of interesting. In short, a right hook's content aims to sell and self-promote. Okay, that's what your marketer is all about. And a jab's content aims to engage and trigger an emotional response. What do you think is going to be more effective? Well, that's why he says jab, 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 and then right hook. Okay, think of the analogy. You have two boxers in the ring. They both get in there and they both want to win the match. But I don't think either boxer's thinking, I'm just going to step in there and boom, I'm gonna throw that right hook and I'm going to take my opponent down, you know, match over. That's not going to happen. There's, you know, there's work to get there. Jab, 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 right hook. There's the setup. And here's what Vaynerchuk says. He said, we need to keep in mind there's no sale without the story. So don't go and just try to close your deal, throw a right hook, get it over. If you don't have a story, you're not going to get a sale. And again, with our analogy with boxing, there's no knockout without the setup. So keeping that in mind. Secondly, most people and brands in this case still don't really understand social media. So most of their content sucks. He's very blunt. He's to the point, but it's true. So take time to understand what social media is all about. Okay, to understand what you're trying to do, because otherwise you're going to be like the mass of people. And I think still even 10 years later after that book's written, a lot of people's content sucks or it's non-existent. And he says the reason this is partly because brands, and I'll add individuals into that, still don't know how to tell their story in each social media platform's native language, which results in poor content and it looks out of place and it drives away fans. Again, you want to attract people, as I said in a previous segment, not repel people. How do you win friends and influence people on social media, and in particular Facebook, instead of repelling them? Well, you tell the story. And the key here is most content online is still just low quality noise. You want to rise above that. It's the creative, the emotionally engaging content that will rise through the clutter and get you noticed. And that's what we're after, isn't it? Individuals, brands, and marketers really need to make this kind of content happen. And the big takeaway here that I think is often forgotten, or even I'd say overlooked, marketing influencers are on social media to sell stuff. Consumers, however, are not. Guess what? They're there for value. There's our word again, adding value. Consumers are there for value. People that you're going to be talking to, posting about it, trying to engage, they're looking for value. And this really entails quality posts to get their engagement, okay? And key thing to remember, guys, leaders ask questions. This topic's not covered too much, but one of the best things you can do is ask questions, pose questions on your post when you're engaging. What do you think about such and such? What is impacting our current business situation or the economy, right? How are you dealing with blank situation? Okay, you can post positive affirmations daily. Pose a question on top of this. Share quotes by famous people or well-known business leaders. Ask questions about it. What do people think about this? And share it. What stands out most and why? Things like this. When people are telling me they're looking for a business opportunity, don't just go for the right hook. Okay, be a leader, ask questions, probe, ask what are their motives, and what do they do currently? Okay, why are they seeking an opportunity? What are they looking for specifically? What are their goals? You provide value when you're doing this. And this doesn't always mean you're going to get a response, of course, but you're setting yourself up as an influencer. And let's take a look here. I'm going to jump here real quick. The core of influence is trust. Okay, John Maxwell, remember, said leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. But the core of influence is trust, and you can't lead without it. And I would extend that to what we're talking about here on Facebook. You're not going to get engagement. People aren't going to be hearing you if they don't trust you. So you need to have trust. Again, setting yourself up as an influencer. And I would say, keep in mind, provide sound advice, have integrity, avoid answering stuff that you don't know or shouldn't recommend. I've had people ask, they're posing questions, where do I invest my money? I said, I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know what your goals are or anything. It's not really a question I can ask, but you might ask me, why are you asking this? Why are you on a public forum asking this? And I recommend and you should, that they seek professional, competent advice in areas where I don't have familiarity, where you don't, whether legal, financial, or medical, etc. And this leads you to become a trusted influencer. And I think that's what we want to look at doing, guys, more than anything. Here's, Facebook founder himself, Mark Zuckerberg. Nothing influences people more than a recommendation from a trusted friend. A trusted referral influences people more than the best broadcast message. So that ties in trusted friend. That he's absolutely 100% right. Can people trust the influence that you're providing when you're posting? Is it sound, and is it as unbiased as possible? Okay, are you always going for the proverbial right hook? Okay. Key as a business owner, and the one who seeks to be an influencer in the leadership sense, is that you need to do your due diligence if you want to remain influential. Know what you're talking about. Okay, provide value. I've been in sales for over 30 years, 12 years in professional sales, because I really understood what that was. But don't be the 70 or 80s salesperson on social media where all you're trying to do is close a deal or promote and sell your product or service, get people in, recruit people, no matter how great that may be. Okay, add value first. It's jab, 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 and then right hook. Brand yourself as a trusted influencer. Are you real? Are you authentic? Are you providing value? Okay. And lastly, call to action. If you get the point in the conversation through engagement, someone's looking for an opportunity that you can provide them, you can fill a need, that if I would you? From Eric Worre's GoPro. You know, if I were able to share a video with you, would you watch it? If I were able to invite you to a webinar, would you be able to attend? If I could introduce you to some of the people I'm working with, would you be able to set up a Zoom meeting or something, etc.? You know, feel free to share opportunities, videos, and engage with them about ways that you can help them or solve their problem or need. You know, find out how you can follow up and have a conversation with them. That's what we're all about here. Be a leader, okay, and help them, empower them, and introduce them to your sources of influence.